Hi BookTube, it's Sarah and welcome to The Book Bag. Today I'm talking about how I organize my bookshelves because it drives my friends absolutely bonkers, and I need to share it with someone else. We're going to start at the top of my bookshelf here. These books over here are books that have stars on the cover that then transition into like kind of sci-fi. We've got like Night Vale, Hank Green's books. Not sure what's happening with Shantram there. And then we've got a couple Anastasia books, kind of like historical fiction a little bit. I don't know. Then we've got all of our Beauty and the Beast and the retellings, and then Roald Dahl's just kind of on the end there because he's in the way. The next shelf is kind of like romance, teen romance, like young adult romance. Lovely War is also in there. Time Traveler's Wife doesn't really belong there, just didn't have a better place for it. Some John Green books, then all my Sarah Dessen books, except for the one that's up north at the moment. The next shelf, I've got my teen series, I think is kind of what this is. We've got the Maximum Ride as well as the manga. These guys in the middle here, not sure what's happening with them, but they're kind of like YA. I think I was kind of going for like fantasy, sci-fi, YA stuff in here too. So we've got like this Lunar Chronicles and the Falconer series, as well as a couple like random YA speculative fiction. My next shelf down, we have books about books and or bookshops / libraries. So all these books are either novels about people in bookstores or are actually, like the Novel Cure is recommendations for books based on your mood and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Then we go into shipwrecks, but more specifically my books about the Titanic, which then transitions into more disaster stories by Gordon Corman, which are kind of like 9 to 12 books. I don't know why I have such a fascination with disasters, but then it transitions nicely into my mountain disaster books, mostly about Everest, but some of them aren't. My next shelf down is slightly more chaotic. I think this is supposed to be my nonfiction shelf, so we've kind of got like celebrities, stories. Yeah, I don't really know. Just got some like nonfiction stuff, not really in any specific order. I'm not sure what's happening over here. These are kind of like my other adult fiction books that are just kind of hanging out at the bottom. Didn't really have a spot for them, so I just mushed them all together. And then we'll go back up and I will show you all the books behind. On this top shelf, this is going to be interesting, but in the back here I have French books from when I was a kid, different series I liked. Oh boy, I've got mostly, I think it's actually mostly books from my childhood in the back. So I've got the Madison Finn series, the Sarah Plain and Tall trilogy. Oh, still filming. We've got Holes, the Wayside School book, Ella Enchanted and other books by that same author, Jerry Spinelli books, Anna Green Gables, Frightful's Mountain, My Side of the Mountain, all that stuff. And then in the back here, we have a couple of Christmas books and some other just like really fluffy teen romance, like closer to like teen Harlequin equivalent. On the second shelf, we have more books from my childhood. So these are more books from when I was like tween, I guess. I got all the Sharon Creech books, which I love so much. Margaret Peterson Haddocks, some fairy tale retellings, Wendy Mass, iconic. Number the Stars, Mandy, Chasing Vermeer, all those good teen books, as well as a couple other ones that I don't remember as well, or like aren't like favorites of mine that I want to see all the time. Some of these, like the Never Slow Dance with a Zombie and Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac, Must Love Black, those are kind of the first YA books I ever read. So they're like kind of between 9 to 12 and young adult. And then we've got a couple other, like the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld that I read in school that I really liked, all hiding back here. All right, so on my third shelf in the back, once again, some books that I read when I was a little bit younger. So we've got the City of Ember series, the Inkheart series, the Leviathan series by Scott Westerfeld again. Got a lot of books by him, actually. The Frontline series by Michael Grant, who was a guy who wrote the Gone series, but this is like, what if women were allowed in World War II? super great. Then A Rose Under Fire, also like a World War II book. The Blood Red Road series, which I think is actually the Dustland series, yeah. Divergent, I only own the first one. A couple of the Sarah J. Maas books, Throne of Glass, and the second one. Kind of gave up on that series, wasn't really fond of it. Sorry, book talk. And then yeah, some other like pretty popular teen books, but that weren't my top favorites, so I shoved them in the back here because I was okay with not seeing them as much as the others. Also, The Cremation of Sam McGee, because it's my favorite poem. So on my fourth shelf of my bookshelf here, I have my classics in the back. These are ones I've already read. The classics I haven't read are up north with me at the moment. Oh, Attack of the Books. Yeah, I got like To Kill a Mockingbird. These are kind of like, oh my god, these books are just flying at me. These books are kind of more like younger ones that I read when I was more of a kid. The Little Prince, I actually have, I think our family owns like 3 copies of it, 2 in English and 1 in French, because we wanted a French version, but accidentally bought a second English version. Not sure how that happened, but it did. And then in the back here, we have my like manga graphic novels. I own like 2 manga books. And then just like some more graphic novels. A lot of these were ones I read when I was like, I feel like 13 or so. Like the Amelia Rules series, The Queen Bee, Breaking Up. And then these were ones that I read when I was a bit older, as well as we have like Gary Larson, The Far Side here, as well as the Calamity Jack and Rapunzel's Revenge series. This is a duology by Shannon Hale, who's written a bunch of 9 to 12 books that's like a Western take on Rapunzel. Super fun. Lots of fun hijinks. Alright, so here on this, oh, come on. You kidding me, boys? Okay, so here on this shelf, this is like the last one that I've really got books on this bookshelf. We've got a few kind of like older books that aren't quite classics. These ones are poems. These are just some adult, some not books that I just like, I don't know, we're okay, but I don't really remember too much. Yeah, I don't think this one's really got too much of a theme. We've got some more, these ones are kind of like young adult ones that, I don't know, they kind of didn't fit anywhere else, and so I just put them back here. This is kind of like I don't know what to do with you shelf. Got some little like romances, got Nicholas Sparks, got what I have of the Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus series, also the Da Vinci Code, because I read that and like it was good, but I don't really remember it. And these Titan AE books, which were based on a kid's I think it was like 20th Century Fox, like the guys who did Anastasia movie, Ready Player One, because that was given to me as a gift. But I also like didn't really enjoy it too much. And The Ship of Theseus, which was a cool story because it's kind of told, it's like 2 stories in one. It's pretty fun. And then just down here I have like a whole bunch of like books from when I was a kid, like the 3 to 5 kind of books, and then like my Harry Potter illustrated editions and all like the fancy books about Harry Potter and like making the movies and stuff like that. I also have these books that are currently sitting on my dresser that usually sit on top of the other books in my bookshelf, that are just like ones that I bought more recently and haven't had time to like place them in the shelves where they belong, because it will require a fair amount of reshuffling because they're all different vibes, if you will, but they're just currently sitting up here because they kind of look nice next to my typewriter. Okay, and then I have this other little bookshelf next to my dresser, and I've got like some of the more recent queer stories that I've purchased or received as gifts, as well as a few classics. Half of these I've read, half of these I haven't, and just like other assorted books that I haven't read yet, as well as some more children's books, picture books. On the shelf below I have a continuation of like the queer books, as well as, I don't know, these guys kind of don't really go in there. This is about Mr. Rogers and this is about an imaginary friend. Both very good, don't really belong on the shelf. I think they just were the ones I liked, so they all went together. And then we've kind of got, normally I'd have a different kind of cowboy here, and it would transition from like queer stuff into my like 3 Western books that I own, but that's up north with me right now. Okay, so then down here I've got my Kenneth Opel books, as well as A Madman's Daughter, not sure what's doing there. And then I start my Losing My Alcott Little Women section. So it starts with the other Alcott, which is written about losing my Alcott's sister. It's like a historical fiction. And then the graphic novel of a modern retelling of Little Women. And then I get into all of my Little Women editions that are hanging out back here, as well as Little Men, Joe's Boys, and Under the Lilacs. And then I have one more little shelf up here. My last shelf here is my ARCs on the left side, and then books about serial killers on the right, of which I currently only have 2. And those are my bookshelves. Thanks for coming on my bookshelf tour today. Now you might have a better idea of why some of my friends want to strangle me when they see my bookshelves, or at least tie me up and reorganize them to their liking. It's not really any sort of anything that makes sense. It's just my mood, whatever books I think might be friends or deserve to be together. I can't even explain it, but I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my books and seeing what goes on in my brain when I shelve them. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.